What is up, guys? My name is Max and I am going to be giving you guys basically the same thing that dApollo has been doing with his tutorials. I wanted to give it a go as well because it seemed like such a blast to make the videos and help out the community. I'm not trying to take any credit that belongs to him. I just thought it was a great format for learning, and I want to put more content out there. So if you guys like this, let me know, give me feedback, and I'll keep doing it. So yeah, I'm basically going to do the same thing he does with two major differences, and those differences are I'm going to be separating the games that I play into race matchups. So this video is going to be dedicated to TvP. I think it's a better way to learn if you focus on one matchup at a time, because it's less information in your head. You can just get it ingrained in your memory better what you want to be doing and reacting to. And the other major difference is that I'm going to be playing the games and recording that video, and then in my movie editor, Sony Vegas, I'm just recording commentary over the games. And I think what that'll do is give my commentary more insight, and I'll be able to notice mistakes that I make and point those out to you. And I think it'll just make it a nicer process, because the gameplay, when I commentate and I play at the same time, it's really hard for me to play my best. So I'm hoping that this will give you guys the best quality games. So like Apollo does, let's go over the settings here. Graphics first. These are my graphics. I'll just let you look at them. I basically found these to be the best settings for seeing cloaked units while still turning off anything extra that I don't need. So I'll just leave it at that. You can copy these if you like. I would recommend these if your computer is beastly and it can run Ultra on everything. If your computer is not that good and you need to run it on low for increased frames, definitely do that. Don't put these settings. Controls. Mouse scroll speed, I would recommend putting this up there, because if you're going to be scrolling, you want to take as little time as possible. And then gameplay, your gameplay settings should basically look exactly the same as mine, except of course save all replays. I use SC2 gears for this, so that's why I have it unchecked. So there you go. As far as hotkeys go, I'm going to go over the hotkey setup that I have for Terran. Which is basically the only race that I play. I really envy dApollo for being able to play like a master's level in all three races. That's really cool. But I can just give you guys Terran tutorials, so hopefully you'll like them. Let me know. So I've switched my patrol to Q and my hold position to W. These are just easier for me to press without moving my hand all the way across the keyboard and probably missing them. Hold position is really important for TVT. Like you don't want your Marines running into tank lines. Patrol is also really important, just to use in general. It's a nice thing. Not for splitting against banelings, but like sending one unit to patrol a certain area is nice. Or Hellions outside of Zerg space. I've changed lift off and land to F. It's just easier for me to press. It's closer. And I've changed load to E instead of O. And what else is there? Basically anything that's on the right side of the keyboard I made into W. Like Planetary Fortress, which was P, I made it into W, and HiSec I made it into W, Mobius Reactor I made it into W, and Infernal Pre-Igniter, Blue Flame, I made it into W. Also, I switched ship plating to D. I rarely get ship plating, but I don't want to hit P when I want it, so there you go. Alright, that is my setup. This is not the account I'm going to be using. This is my main account actually on NA. The account I'm going to be using was kindly, or one of my friends kindly let me borrow it, and he hadn't laddered on it in a very long time. So I had to redo the placements, of course, because it had been like multiple seasons. So I lost them all. Even though I lost them all, I got into Silver League, which actually, thinking about it, is probably better than being in Bronze, because in Silver, even though it's not working out from Bronze like Apollo was doing, in Silver you're going to face people who sort of know what they're doing, so the games will probably be a lot better for educational purposes. So I hope you guys see that today. And I'm going to be doing the games in chronological order by matchup. So I'll play all the TvPs that I did in a row, and so it's not going to be every game in a row, of course, but it'll still be sort of chronological. So anyway, that is that, and let's get started here. Let's get into game one. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop into our first game here. So it's a TvP on Tal'Darim Altar. And the build that we're going to be doing in TvP on larger maps, which is pretty much every map in the ladder pool as of now, except for Metalopolis, Shatter Temple, and Core Hall Compound sometimes.
Not enough minerals.
On larger maps, so all the ones except for those, we're going to be doing a 1 barracks gasless fast expansion into 3 racks. It's one of the most standard builds. You can see it in a lot of pros play, and if you know how to scout with it and you know how to react to what you see, it's actually an extremely safe build, and it can do a very good job of defending all-ins as well. So as you see here, I'm gonna wall in, or at least try to wall in at my door, sort of. There's no ramp on Tal'Darim, so you sort of have to estimate where to put the depots. I think I messed it up this game, but it's not a big deal because we're gonna have a bunker at the naturals ramp to defend from any pressure that Toss wants to put on early game. So you get the depot on 10, and you get the barracks on 12. Meanwhile, you just keep producing SCVs. This is a pretty big map, but we're still going to scout at the normal time, which is going to be the 13th SCV. You can go ahead and rally that down. I like to hotkey it to 2. If you notice my hotkey setup, I have my building SCV hotkeyed to 1. He's on the barracks right now. I have the command center on 4, and I have my barracks on 5. The scout I have on 2, and I'm sending him to all the other bases right now. Now this probe, I just send an SCV to follow it in case he starts to harass my worker. Now I put the depot down there because I want vision of my whole main, and I can spot if he's doing anything tricky like warping in units or trying to put a pylon down there on the low ground. So it's just a good place to put a depot since we're not walling in because of the no ramp. So I found him with my scout, and I see that he doesn't have gases. So he's getting 2 gateways, and he just put down a cybercore. So right away I know I'm extremely safe as long as I get my bunker down before zealots come into my ramp, into my base. So the reason for this is because he really needs gas units to do any sort of pressure. If he's gonna do some kind of gateway timing push, he's going to have to bring sentries to force field you from repairing. So as you see right here, I got my command center. I'm not doing a very good job of going over the build. I'm going to talk more about big picture stuff this game. Then the next games we'll go over the build in more detail. So we get the bunker down and just rally some marines there. As you approach 300 minerals, you want to bring out 2 SCVs and put them in positions where you want to build your barracks, just like that, so that you can get your 2 more barracks down right as you get 300 minerals. So I was saying the reason why I'm safe if he's not getting gas fast is because gas units are the ones that are threatening. If he's just going to have a few zealots, a bunker can hold that for days. You can bring SCVs to repair it if he's got a lot. So with your next 150 minerals, you want to get the double gas. And now we just build marines as the production is available. And we want to make that expansion into an orbital. I transferred 4 SCVs from the main. This is a good habit to do, just so you get some even saturation going from the beginning. So as soon as these 2 barracks finish, I just killed the probe there he sent in to scout. Probably saw my expansion. As soon as those 2 barracks finish, you want to start marines with one and immediately start a tech lab with the other one. This is so you can get a fast concussive shell and a marauder. It's going to be a safe play to go. Sometimes you can get stim first, but for this tutorial we're going to be getting concussive shell and marauder first every time.
Yes, sir. Huh?
So I saved my SCV scout at that watchtower, and I'm going to send him back in to see if he's expanded. If he hasn't expanded, then I need to play a little bit more careful. Maybe throw down a second bunker, but we're going to see what happens.
Well, butter my
Okay, so he hasn't expanded, so I'm going to see what I can see in his main, and then we'll react to that, depending on what happens. I'm going to get my factory right now.
What's going on?
I do have a bunch of gas, and that's the next thing you want to be getting. And keep in mind I haven't got add-ons yet on my other two barracks. I'm just making Marines 2 at a time. So I see he's getting a robo, and he just finished warp gate at 7 minutes. So it's clear that his build is not optimal. So I get my other gases. I'm not feeling under any pressure here. The robo means that that's the tech path he chose. He's not going to have any void rays coming into my base soon, or any DTs or anything like that. So I'm really safe. I have a good amount of units, and basically the only type of all-in pressure he could be doing is some kind of immortal bust, and that doesn't really work off of one base. Usually you want to do like a 6 gate plus immortal off of 2 base, and that's a pretty good build. So as soon as your factory's done, you want to get that reactor down and start the starport next to it. You're going to switch those when they're done. And then I like to start my second add-on, my second tech lab, and my reactor on the barracks that were that didn't have add-ons, right as the starport's done, and the eBay around that time as well.
Not enough minerals.
You can go ahead and get combat shield too. And now we're just gonna make sure we're not getting supply blocked. So you want to constantly be building a depot. As you see, I have that marine up there. I mean that SCV, sorry. And once he's done building the depot, you can just go ahead and start another one. So I swapped my factory in the starport, and now I'm building 2 medevacs at a time. I take guys off gas, and as you can see, there's an observer here. This is one of the reasons why I play on the relatively high graphic settings compared to low, because observers are easy to spot. So the reason I took guys off my second gas, or my fourth gas there, was because it was getting a little high, and I want to make sure that I can expand and have units. So scan and kill the observer. It's always really nice to do that, just so he can't see what you're doing. So I sent my SCV back into his base. It looks like he has taken his natural, and he's building immortals. So I feel really safe here. I know I'm ahead because I expanded early. So I send 1 marine to the watchtower in between our bases, just to see if he's going to attack anytime soon, and I break down my destructible rocks in preparation for taking my third. I get a second, or sorry, I get an armory here, so that I can start my +2 when that eBay is done upgrading. Now I send a marine here and to the watchtower because I don't want any warp-ins catching me off guard. I want to make sure that there's no proxy pylons. And the mechanic that you want to use to do this is select your whole group. As you see, I have my army hotkeyed to 3, and you want to A-move your whole army where you want the 1 marine to go, okay? And then you see in the bottom how there's always the little icons that represent your units. You go ahead and shift-click in that bottom, and then what that does is it deselects the unit you shift-clicked. So you want to A-move everything, shift, deselect 1 marine, and then you hit Control 3 again. In my case, you might be Control 1, and you reassign the entire hotkey group without that 1 unit that you sent to the tower. And this is a really good thing to do. It's what you do in all matchups, and it's a really good habit to get into, is shift deselecting when you want to move 1 marine out of your control group.
Not enough.
So we went up to 5 racks before my expansion went down, and now that it's down, I'm going to add a few more. I'm just patrolling this marine so that I can catch any pylons in the common locations. I see he hasn't even started to take down his rocks first though, so I'm feeling really safe again. I'm not scared of any 2 base pressure he's coming. He's gonna be able to put on me, but I am gonna tech up still. as you see, I got my Ghost Academy. I forgot to mention that, sorry. You want to get your Ghost Academy down somewhere around 11
Big
minutes.
job, huh? In the rear with
10 minutes is ideal at really high levels of play, but for these lower leagues, 11 minutes is fine. You want to start Mobius Reactor when it's done so that your ghosts spawn with enough energy for an EMP.
Research.
So I scan him and I see that he's just got a bunch of gateway units. He doesn't have any area of effect attack. That's AoE.
Complete.
And against a Terran who's going bio, like I am, you really need that as Protoss to deal with the army. Otherwise it's just too powerful with medevacs healing it. Okay, so as you can see, I've shift deselected a Marine down to his third, and I can see that he still hasn't even started to take down the rock, so I'm feeling really safe now, because I'm on a third. I'm just about preparing to get a fourth. I've got 2 starports, each with the reactor. I've got my upgrades going. I've got ghosts on the way with cloak, and I've got Vikings out, so I'm prepared for every tech path he has. His High Templar, if they're even coming, will be dealt with by my ghosts, which are going to be out in time. And since he's got the robo, it's very likely he's going to go Colossus before High Templar, so I've got Vikings out in time to stop that. So basically, I'm not worried about attacking him if he's on 2 base. Once he starts to take his third, then he'll be vulnerable, so then we'll make a push then. Or we can just do it when we're maxed, so we'll see what happens first. So the ghosts are out right now. You want to make sure to hotkey your ghosts and your Vikings separately from your main MMM army. And as you see, I just highlighted my Marauders there. My Marauder count is pretty high at this point. Believe it or not, you want to go very heavy Marines in the late game. You don't want that many Marauders, especially if he's got Immortals. Marines are really good against Immortals, and they do very high DPS, even more so than Marauders against a lot of Protoss units except Stalkers and Colossus. So you really want to go Marine heavy. The Marauders are there to tank damage from the charge lots while your medevacs heal them, and your Marines do damage from behind, but you want more Marines for sure so that they can do all that damage. Alright, so now I'm going to prepare for an attack. So I have my 3 hotkeys, Ghosts on 1, Vikings on 2, and my main army on 3.
Roger that.
And I'm taking a 4th as I'm doing this, just so if it goes wrong, I'll be safe. So I scan, I see he's got nothing really, so I just EMP him a bunch to get rid of his shields and to lower the sentry energy. I send the Vikings in just in case there's Colossus on the way, and as you can see, there's no real micro required. It's not hard, you just A-move when the Protoss doesn't want to take it further. So, GG. That's game 1 out of the way. This is my first time doing commentary for these videos, so I hope you'll see me get better over time, and I'll definitely try to, and I'll review my commentary before I do the next one. So I hope you guys enjoyed that game, and we're going to go ahead and transition into game number 2 here. Alright, so here we go. Game number 2, the map is Cloud Kingdom. This is a 2-player map. This is very large. I'm just showing you its Protoss because I forgot to record as the loading screen was going. Just caught it at the end there. So the way I'm doing these games is to use as little APM as possible when I'm macroing. I'm not spamming at all. I want you guys to be able to see everything I do very clearly so that you can copy it for yourself. So I hope that it's easy to see, and it should be much easier to see than people who are actually trying really hard when they play. I'm just making a big effort to make it really simple to watch. So I hope you guys appreciate that, and we'll learn better from it. So we're going to do the same thing because this map is pretty well tailored for a 1 Rax fast expand. The natural has a pretty thin entrance, so a bunker does a very good job of holding it off. So I sent my SCV, a rally it from the command center to the ramp when it's 10 out of 11. You build the supply depot on 10. I mean, sorry, when it's 9 out of 11, you rally it to the ramp.
Bad news.
And then you build the supply depot at 10 out of 11. At 12 you build the barracks with the same SCV. As you can see, I have it hotkeyed to 1. And then I hotkeyed my barracks to 5. I'm going to go over the build more in detail this game so you guys can understand it. So because the probe got in and saw that I wasn't doing gas, I think I make the decision not to get the second depot and just to go for a 15 command center, or a 16 command center after the marine. And the reason for this is that it's nice to wall off and then get the like 17 command center. Ooh, barely got it there. But it's nice to wall off if he hasn't gotten your base, because he doesn't know if you're going gas, so you might have to take extra precautions. But since he saw I'm not going gas, I'm just going to throw it down
Not
immediately.
enough minerals.
So right when your marine comes out, you do that. You throw it down. You don't build another marine until your
Upgrade
supply depot
complete.
goes down.
Our SCVs are under attack.
When the orbital command is finished, you throw down the mule and you
Big job.
get another SCV. Then you build a supply depot to finish the wall off, and now you can start another marine.
Bad news.
And you want to build the bunker. 350 is a good time to build the bunker. 4 minutes is good too. 410 is kind of late. You might die if he chronos out his first zealot really fast.
Additional supply depots
Not die,
required.
but take damage.
Additional supply depots
So I
required.
scouted him. I saw he only had 1 gas, so I'm just gonna play standard, and I'll do another scout later. That's what this is right here. I switched the SU that was building the bunker to the low health one that just came back. So there, when you have 300 minerals,
Not
you
enough
throw down
minerals.
2 barracks. That's basically it. It's around like 22
Not
supply.
enough minerals.
So I switched to SCVs and I sent this one out to prepare a scout for later in the game. It's going to be really important to see if he's expanded or not. So after your barracks go down, with your next 150 minerals, you want to be throwing
Not
down 2
enough
gases.
minerals.
And then fill up your
Not
bunker
enough.
and get your
Not
orbital
enough
command at the
minerals.
natural. I transfer some SCVs, as you can see there, from my main.
Bad news.
Load up guys
In
and
the rear
gas.
with the gear.
Mechanically, the best way to do this is to click on an SCV that doesn't have minerals, like he just dropped them off, and then hold shift and click on another SCV, and then right click on the gas. Now if you have an SCV with minerals in his hand and you want to make him
Upgrade
do something,
complete.
like enter a gas, just right click on the gas and then press C once. And what that does is it makes him return the minerals and then do what you told him.
Go ahead.
Just a little trick for you guys.
SCV ready.
So as soon as those 2 racks finish, you build a tech lab and a marine, and you're still building constant marines from the first barracks. And then when the tech lab's done, you get
In the
marauder,
rear with the
and you
gear.
get now okay, this bunker right here, because he didn't have an expansion at 6 minutes 30 seconds, I'm preparing for an aggressive timing. But as you can see, he's got a forge and he's going void ray from his main base. This is really bad as
What's
Protoss,
going on?
because the void rays are going to take so long to get to my base that there's really no damage he's going to be able to do. And he's going for an upgrade as well. Usually when you go void rays, you want to do a lot of damage quickly.
Complete. Our SCVs are
So
under
as you can see, I
attack.
cancel that bunker at the top of my ramp because I know he's not going to be able to break my natural. So I throw down another one at the natural just to be safe, and I throw one in the main just in case he does some pylon on the low ground with void ray, warping in on the high ground shenanigans. I take guys off gas here because I'm going to want to get a lot of marines and start a couple more barracks earlier.
Armed and ready.
I'm not going to want to tech up as fast. So I load up that bunker in the main just in case he floats a void ray in there.
Can't wait.
And I'm just building SCVs and marines.
Go ahead.
And don't get supply blocked. Make sure you don't get supply blocked if he's doing some aggressive attack like this.
Not enough minerals.
So when the factory's done, I go ahead and throw down my starport,
By the big job.
and I just go crazy with the bunkers because why not? His build is really suboptimal, and if I take no damage, it's almost guaranteed that I'm just gonna crush whatever he has. So swap the factory and the starport, and you want to get medevacs in this situation because your stim is almost done. Don't don't get Vikings. You really want to be able to stim your units and have them be healed. Vikings are nice if you're doing something like a 1-1-1, where you have a bunch of Marines and you're not going to be stimming them anyway. But in this case, you really want stim to be your #1 attack. You don't want to have Vikings this early.
In the rear with the gear. I can't build here.
So as his Void Ray came over and poked and ran away, the timing for him to do damage here is passing very rapidly, so I'm getting less and less worried as he doesn't attack me. And my medevac comes out, so I feel really, really safe right now. I go and see that he's just thrown down a Nexus with this SUV.
Additional supply depots required. Research complete.
Now what that means is that he's not going to do an all-in. He may do a heavy attack because that Nexus is pretty late, but it's not going to be like if he doesn't kill me, he loses. So I have a large amount of units, so I'm just going to push out here with my medevacs. I feel very confident that I can take whatever he has. I even bring the guys in the main, unload from the bunker. And I just keep rallying guys.
Go ahead.
Make a new barracks because I don't have that many add-ons. And I just go out and take the tower. You see his Nexus is still there, he hasn't cancelled it. And I throw down a couple eBays because I know the game is going to go on later, so I'm going to need to upgrade. Unfortunately, I did lose a medevac there, it was a bit sloppy by me. But his army is no match for mine, especially with stim in this case. So you're going to see why this build. You can just build bunkers and be safe as much as you want, and then you can dominate their armies later. So I miscontrolled a little bit there. I stimmed the guys back, but they were in the same control group, so they ended up going forward. But just pull your SCVs away from the line, bring the Marines back, and then send them back to mine. So see, what I do here is I shift deselect as I send them into gas. That's the optimal way to send guys back into gas after you're being harassed and you have to pull off the mineral line. You want to take all your SCVs, right click on a gas, shift deselect 2 or 3 of them, and then right click on the other gas, shift deselect 2 or 3 of them, and then right click on the minerals. So that'll send 2 or 3 to each gas and then back on the minerals. And I say 2 or 3 because 1 might still be in there. So as you can see, he didn't really have anything. I stimmed and killed his army in the middle, so I can just go kill his Nexus right now.
Additional supply depots required.
At this point in the game, you just want to kill him. There's no point really expanding again or doing anything macro.
Additional supply depots required. Additional supply depots.
I shouldn't really say that, but I mean, if you have an opportunity to kill your opponent, for sure, like 100%, and you know it, and you're in the position to do it, then just do it. The hard thing is to know when it's 100% or not, and that's why you'll hear Artosis always say, when you're ahead, get more ahead. But don't let him come back. That's another thing to not get caught up in. So there you can see, defending against a bad Void Ray attack is very, very easy. So we're going to head on to game 3 here. Alright guys, so heading on to game 3, this is going to be Shattered Temple. So the build's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be doing the standard 2 racks, 1 reactor, 1 tech lab. And that's because this map is a bit smaller, and it's a pretty effective build on small maps because it allows you to apply pressure if they do something greedy like fast expansion. And also it's extremely safe against many types of all-ins, and Protoss usually like to do aggressive attacks on smaller maps. So that's what you're going to see here, and I'll go over the build as it plays out. So again, at 9 out of 11, you rally to the ramp, queue up another SCV, and then I hawk you that one that comes out to 1, and I just make a depot with it at the wall. And the reason why we're walling is just because it's safer. And if you want to get through the lower leagues, you want to be safe as possible. You really want to play more defensive in your games and pick your battles. You don't want to be the one who goes and attacks all the time
Additional supply depots
until
required.
you know what you're doing, and that comes with experience, and that'll come when you get into a higher league. So if you saw my eBay there, I do that when I have 125 minerals, just before I get 150 for the barracks, so I can see where to place it. It's the same size as a barracks, and you can use that to put your mouse in the right place. Then you just right click and then hit BB for the barracks. So that way you'll never get a wall that you misplace.
Roger.
So you throw down a gas on 14, and that is to get 50 minerals just in time for the reactor. I send out a scout as my gas goes down because I want to see if he's doing anything aggressive, and I want to count his gases. If he's doing one gas, then there's basically two options. He can either 4-gate or he can do a fast expansion. So I want to make sure that I know what his possibilities are. You don't get the depot after this rax is finished. You just orbital up your main and then get one marine. Then with your next 150 minerals, you build a second barracks, as you can see right there. Once that marine comes out, you get the reactor immediately, and then you can get your depot at the wall. As your orbital finishes up, you want to be muling and then building an SCV. From this point on, you're going to be building constant supply depots with this SCV and constant SCVs from your main. So I go in, I see that he has 2 gases, and he's saved up a lot of chrono boosts. So this could be some kind of tech all-in or tech pressure like DT Void Ray. It's quite possible. So the 2-rax is very good at dealing with that kind of stuff, just because of the unit output. When the second rax finishes up, you want to throw down your tech lab immediately, and when the reactor's done, as it is right now, you want to start double marines. And again, constant depots with that one SCV. I rally my marines just outside there at the top of the ramp to catch any units if he tries to push up for a scout. When the tech lab is done, you want a marauder and concussive shell right away. Now if you notice my scouting SCV, I tucked it away behind the gold base so I can send it in for another scout again. This build is extremely simple. You just want to constantly produce out of these 3 buildings, your orbital and your 2 barracks, and make constant supply depots. Always marauders out of the tech lab barracks, and always 2 marines at a time out of the reactor. If he's done a fast expand, you're going to want to push with like 3 SCVs maybe, and build a couple bunkers to try to keep him from defending his natural. But because of the tech build, we're going to be playing more defensive, so you're not going to see me go push out right now. When concussive shell is done, you want to get stim, because stim is really, really important. And then I send my SCV in again to see what he's up to. And I see he's got a sentry and a stalker. That's not very much gas, so it could very well be something like Void Ray. It's probably not DT, just because you typically don't see a sentry when they're going one-base DT, because of how much gas it takes. But I'm a bit scared of something that's hidden, so I'm going to start rallying units to my main, and this force is just going to go out to see what it can do. I throw down an eBay, because a turret is going to be good against CTs, and it's also going to be good against Void Rays. And I send these 2 marines to proxy locations, but as you saw right there, an observer just floated over my army, so I know he has a robo-bay. That automatically eliminates the possibility that he's going Void Ray all-in or DT. So I send 1 marine in first right here, and I see a sentry's kind of far back, so he throws down a guardian shield instead of a force field, which is a huge mistake. He allows me to walk in here, and as you can see, concussive shell keeps his stalkers from running away. He throws down a force field, just like a panic move, doesn't do anything. And that's an immortal that's coming out right now, because he does want to be safe, so he's getting that immortal. So I'm going to try to kill that robo-bay before it comes out. And I throw down my command center in base so that I can expand. But he doesn't have any units and nothing to stop that army. So, quite simply, he wasn't prepared. He didn't force field it in time. So, that's what you get. And he was platinum. So, there you go. 2-rax is pretty powerful on small maps. So, we're going to go ahead and go into game number 4 here. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far.